So this is where we left off last time. We created a sidebar. So if we click the bars icon, then the sidebar pops up here with the action links that are not plotted currently. If we click this one, we'll get the visualization inside the app, and then if we remove visualizations, the action links populate the sidebar. So in this video, we're going to modularize here the entire row, and we're also adding a date range selector. So the user can select certain date ranges, and then based on these ranges, the visualizations in the application will update. So in order to do this, we're going to modularize this entire div. So this is the header, and then this is the bars icon where the sidebar opens. And now we want to write some code in this div here. So what we're going to do is we're going to create an action link with an icon. So we're saying shiny, and then we're using the action link function again. We'll give it an input ID of, let's say, let's call this show dates. Then the label is going to be empty, and then we have an icon here where we say shiny icon, and the icon is going to be angle down. So we run the app, and we'll get the action link and icon here. So we just have to style it now, and we are styling it the same way we styled the other action link. So we're just going to copy paste what we had in here, and then we're using the show dates ID to do it. Now in the app after this we have another div, and in here the date range selector will be hidden first. So we're going to put this in a separate div, and we're saying shiny date range input, and input ID will say choose dates. There won't be any label, and then we'll have a start date. We'll have an end date. We'll have a minimum date that the user can select, and then we're also going to have a maximum date. So if we read in the web data, and then we'll say range web data $date, we'll see that the minimum date in the app data frame is January 19th of 2019. So this will be the minimum, and the maximum will be March 19th, 2021. And then the start date, we can pick any date within that time range. So what I'll be doing, I'll just say 220 January 1st, and then also 221 January 1st. And then for the width, we'll give it 100%. So after that, we will pipe this into a shiny.js function. Well, we say hidden. So this is at first hidden when we start the application. And in order for shiny.js functions to work, we'll have to put use shiny.js inside the UI. And then after that, we have to go into the server. And in order, let's give this a div, and let's call this, let's give this a toggle dates ID. So inside the server, we're using an observer. So we'll say observe event, and then whenever the arrow down, angle down action link is clicked, then we're going to get the, so whenever it is clicked, the observer gets triggered because we're using input $show dates. And then in here we'll use the shiny JS function, and we'll use our shiny JS package, and we'll use the toggle function, and the ID is going to be toggle dates. So this div gets toggled, and then we'll say animation is equal to true. So if we're running this, we'll have the angle down icon. If we click it, we'll see the date range comes down. And if we click it again, it disappears. So in the server now, we're going to create a reactive, and we'll say shiny reactive. So in here, we're going to get the dates by using input $choose dates, and this is a vector of 2, and to get the first element we're just indexing it, and then we'll say date 1, and then to get the end date we'll say date 2 and index the second element. What we're also going to do is, this is still a string, so what we're going to do is we'll say looper date and pipe it into the year month date function, and then the same for the other date as well. So looper date is not a tidyverse package, so we have to load it separately. And after we're doing this, we're also giving it an interval. And we'll say interval date 1 and date 2. And then in this reactive, we're gonna get the web data frame that we read in when we start the application. And what we're going to say here is, let's call this web data filtered web data, and then we have to filter it. We'll say date within the interval, and then we'll also have to have a return statement, and we are returning web data filtered. So now here in the main visualization server function, web data was static, because when we read it in here, web data stayed constant throughout the application, but now we're filtering based on an input that the user gives us. So what we need to do is we need to make this reactive, and we'll say shiny reactive data, and then we have to use the round brackets, and then we'll save it. And in the main visualization module, df is also static, so in order to make this reactive, we again have to use the round brackets. So we'll save this and then run the app. It says state 2 not found, so just going to remove the T. And then if we toggle this down, we're changing the date, then the visualization gets updated. So what we have left now is we have to modularize this reactive and the observe event, and also the entire UI here. So in order to do this, we're going to copy paste this here. And then we're making a new R script. And here we'll say get data UI. Then we'll have the namespace where we have the ID. And then inside the tag list, we have the entire UI. So the most critical namespaces are going to be here, the action link, and also the toggle dates one. And then we're creating a get data server as well. So it only takes the ID. Then we'll say shiny module server where we have the ID. And then we have a function, input, output, and session. And then in here we are copy pasting the observe event and then also the reactive. So we have the toggle dates in a namespace, and then we also have, do we have the choose dates? We have to have the choose dates in a namespace as well. And I'll remove the show dates for now. So we'll save this as get data module. So now we're going back into the app.r file. What we're doing here, we're saying get data UI ID equals, it's a random one, get data, and then we'll do here get data server ID is equal to get data. And what I've got in here is that, so the return from the reactive is web data filtered, but then the return statement for the entire function is going to be shiny reactive data. Then we'll save this, and then in here let's say df filtered dates is going to be what the filtered data frame looks like, and this one is going to be put in here. So this is already reactive because we returned a reactive here at the end. So we'll assign the output to df filtered dates, and then it should hopefully work. Let's see. So the visualizations are being created. If we click this, it doesn't work. It probably has something to do with the namespace. So what we can do is, I think we'll leave toggle dates. We can leave this in a namespace, or what we can also do is we can copy paste this here and we'll put this in front of toggle dates. We'll save it and then run it. It's still not working. Show dates. Yeah, we have to put the show dates into, right, and then let's leave this as it was, and then let's also remove get data. Let's save it. So if we run it again, it's still not working. So we have input show dates here, and we wrapped it show dates into the namespace here. And then because we did this, we have to now in the styles.css, first we have to put this in front of show dates. We'll save it. We go into this one again, and then so choose dates and show dates is in a namespace. Let's put this one in a namespace too. Let's save it. Okay, so we had to put the toggle in a namespace as well. So if we now change the date, the visualizations that are inside the app, they're being updated accordingly. So that was everything for this video. Again, the blog post to this video is in the description below, and next time we're going to create some value cards, probably up here. And yeah, I'll see you next time.